This is WBSM On Demand.
Good morning. Good morning. So another nice day, and let's put that in the bank, right? We're happy to have that. Remember, get out and vote. The next couple days are going to be crucial. You'll be downloading a lot of information from television commercials, radio commercials, hopefully direct mail. Get out and vote, really. Let me let you in on a little secret. Political people, politicians, they keep track of who goes to the polls and who doesn't. It's a public record. So you're not getting away with anything when you don't go to the polls. In fact, you're hurting yourself. Because when you need something done, should you need something done, if you're not able to contribute to someone's winning, right, by voting for them, or hurt them by voting against them because you've taken yourself out of the mix, it's a lot harder to get response from the government. It's just the way it is. And as the government seems to be taking over more and more of our lives, right, becoming more and more of a player in our day-to-day activities, you need to let politicians know that you have the ability to really to hurt them, right? To help them or to hurt them. Sorry to put it that starkly, but that's the way it is. Speaking of helping and hurting, did you see the dead whale? If you haven't seen the dead whale, go to WBSM.com. We've got pictures of the dead whale that washed up in Westport. What is causing the dead whales? Right now, it's kind of open phones this morning. So if you'd like to give me a call, whatever's on your mind, I bet I'll find it interesting as well. 508-996-0500. Good morning. Thank you for holding.
How you doing, Chris McCarthy?
Not bad, Mike. How are you, my friend?
Good. Hey, this city, let me close this door so I don't hear the street noise out here on Rockdale. Yeah, this city's degenerating big time. I mean, and the people in it, they don't let you cross Rockdale. Today, a 98-year-old man, I was trying to help him cross Rockdale.
Okay.
In front of my place, he stopped because he wanted to see me. He's 98 years old. And they wouldn't stop for him. I got out in the street to try to help him, and they still wouldn't stop. They went around me. And then one side stops, but the other doesn't. They keep flying because they got to get their kid to school on time so they can make it to work. Yeah, it's unbelievable, this city. I mean, I cross Rockdale every day, and every day there's an issue. In a crosswalk, trying to cross. It's crazy.
Society has you. I've been well, Mike. How have you been?
Good, but I'm just seeing. I've been good, but the people in New Bedford, and I figured it out. Why there's so? I get accosted not once, not twice, but 3 times in an hour downtown.
Really?
At the bus station, I walk. So I took the bus the other day, and sure enough, waiting for a bus, I got these. I don't know where these people are from, but they're not from here. I think they're from Fall River. And in Fall River, you got to show an ID to get in the shelter.
Okay.
And there's a list of everybody with warrants. So what they do is they take the bus here to get in the shelter because the shelters here don't require an ID.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
So that's what you're getting here. And so now I go from the bus station to Bank of America to check my balance and make a deposit, right? Small deposit, but I was there. The guy behind me didn't like the fact that he had to wait for me. Check your balances, one transaction, making deposits, another. So it takes a little longer than just one transaction. And I turned around and I apologized to him on my way out. And I said, hey, do you play golf? Because he looked like he's about 6'7". He looked like he was a golfer, yeah. I think he was off his medication. But he turned around to me and he said, If you say another word to me, I'm putting your effing face through the sidewalk.
Good Lord.
Now I go inside to talk to Brian Gomes because he's the security guy there.
Yep.
And the guy says, hey, call the cops. This guy's crazy.
He says about you?
Maybe I am crazy, but that's not for him to make the judgment.
That's
this
correct,
guy
Mike.
Was definitely off his medication or something. But anyways, now I leave. I talk to Brian for a couple minutes, and then I leave. Now I'm walking towards the, you know where the package store is across the
the
street.
Biltmore.
I'm walking. There's three guys leaning up against the fence by the old bar. They turn around, they step out, and they block my way in the sidewalk.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, this is where, and that's all in 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Yeah, it's not safe to go downtown. And the other day I walked, I think I told you this, I walked I got off the bus, I walked up because I wanted to go to the doghouse.
Yep.
But they're closed. They're closed for good. They're up for sale. The doghouse is closed.
Really?
Yeah, on Cogswell. So I walked all the way to where Danny's Tavern is on the avenue and back.
Yep.
It's worse than a third world country up there. It's unbelievably worse.
That's Ward 2, Maria Siesta's department.
Oh, yeah, she's on top of it. All these far left woke liberals that are city councilors, the mayor, of course, is the biggest woke liberal. They don't pay attention to the real issues in the community. They're worried about, the mayor's worried about wind. That's what he's worried about. There's something in it for him, maybe. I don't know. But that's what he's worried about. That's where his attention's on, and spending your money erroneously. That's
Mike,
what he's up to.
Have you seen the dead whale that washed up in Westport?
No, but
you'll see it. What do you think is causing all these whale deaths out there? I know there are more whale deaths now than there ever were before. I don't know. I never remember it happening before, so it seems to me there's more.
Tangled up in something?
Well, there's a theory that because of the pile driving out there, that it's hurting their ability to navigate.
Well,
yeah,
you know what? That's probably exactly what it is.
I just never remember whale deaths.
Well, whales communicate with different sounds.
Yeah.
So the noise under the water from putting in that cement crap for the wind is unbelievable. Yeah. Who's calling me on this other phone?
It's nobody important, Mike. Mike, what? Somebody trying to interfere with your ability to talk to me, probably. Mike, what is your prediction for the election, and what are you doing, if you don't mind saying?
Well, okay, let me give you a little bit of what's going on. When the richest man in the world tells you that the George Soros voting machines are easily tampered with, like last time, when he says that, you better pay attention because he's no fool. Elon Musk, when he tells you something like that, it's scary that they're going to the fix is in. I mean, I see signs for Trump all over the place outside of New Bedford.
Yep. But
you don't see him in New Bedford. You see Harris signs. I would say that if Trump doesn't win, because from what he should win, if it wasn't going to be tampered with. But I think the fix is in, and I predict we'll have anarchy in the streets if Trump doesn't win. Shameful that these unelected bureaucrats that run the DOJ, the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, all these other these guys don't want to lose their power. They don't want to relinquish their power. So they'll do anything to discredit Trump, to try to kill him, even trying to kill him. I don't think that's you know what a Manchurian candidate is,
I
right?
do. A candidate sponsored by China.
No,
controlled by the communist Chinese.
Well, a Manchurian candidate is, in this country, is when a group gets together and tries to brainwash somebody to do something against their will. And I think these two guys that took aim at Trump, I think they're maturing candidates. They've been worked with to do something. And the fact that people still believe that Donald Trump, that this was a hoax, that he didn't really get shot.
Right.
And people saying, well, I'd like to see the towel. I mean, how sick is that? The guy got shot. If he didn't move his head, he was dead.
Absolutely. It was a miracle. We all watched it. It was a miracle.
Yeah, but the woke left, they want to feed you erroneous information.
Mike, if you get an opportunity, I know you're not an internet guy, but if you get an opportunity to watch or listen to the J.D. Vance Joe Rogan podcast, J.D. Vance talks with Joe Rogan for over 3 hours.
I saw it. Yeah.
And they talk about the fact that nobody knows anything about this first shooter, the guy who was killed at the scene down in Pennsylvania, and that his whole house was scrubbed. It's kind of amazing.
Yeah. Well, that's because they find out that he was put up to it by a certain unelected bureaucrat. I won't go on your air and make that accusation.
Thank you, Mike.
And give the name, but yeah, it's just awful. Hey, a lot of the problems exist in this community because the struggle in life for the average person, and there's too many people that aren't even average, income in this community. The struggle is so hard for them. It's so hard for them to make ends meet that it's tough for them to be nice to other people.
Mike,
shameful.
Do you have any of your artwork for sale at your gallery over there?
Oh yeah, I got plenty.
Where is it, Mike?
I don't put it out. It's inside.
Yeah, no, I've seen it inside. It's really, really fantastic stuff. People ought to check it out if they're looking for artwork.
And I used to get $100 for them. I got them for sale now just because I don't paint anymore. I don't put paint on canvas anymore. I'm not into that right now, but I was.
Yeah, no, I know. So these are going to be rare.
Choke a few people. Well, I didn't want to choke a few people out, so I started painting.
Yes, we appreciate that. We appreciate.
If anybody wants them, they can come. They're $40 and $50 right now
on Rockdale Avenue.
Right
by the police station.
Yeah.
Mike Jansen, I always appreciate it. Thanks for. Don't be a stranger, my friend.
Okay, take care.
All right, thanks, everybody. Mike Jansen. He really makes great artwork, and if you're lucky enough, he'll take you for a tour and explain the paintings to you. I'm not joking around. It's a pretty cool experience. If you like art, it's modern art. It's not the Sistine Chapel, but it's pretty cool stuff, and he's got stories that go along with them, and I found it to be really interesting, to tell you the truth. He's right off Rockdale Ave. Right on Rockdale Ave, right by the police station. Anyway, 508-996-0500. In the next hour, we'll have our governor's counselor, Joe Ferreira. Then the final hour of the program, we'll have a bunch of guests, I think, but including Tom Hodge. I think Hank Turgeon's going to be here. You never know what's going to happen here, so stick around. We'll be right back. I'm Chris McCarthy. The New England Patriots have a big game coming up. This week, the Patriots head to Tennessee to take on the Titans. The Titans are 1-6. They're going through their struggles like the Patriots. But Patriots did beat the Jets last week. So Patriots against the Titans. Kickoffs at 1 p.m. Pregame on WBSM begins at 10 a.m. The New England Patriots all season long here on WBSM. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Thanks for holding.
Good morning, Mr. McCarthy. Rick Trapello.
Rick, how's it going?
Board.
What's happening, Rick?
It is going... Well, I'm calling in, if I may, Chris. You're always a gentleman, for a public service announcement on behalf of the planning board.
Sure, go ahead.
We are having today, Kathy Melanson and members of the board, myself included, are holding a coffee at Town Hall in Fairhaven from 10 to 2, and then from 4 to 8 this evening, to discuss the housing issues centered around the 40R questions, which are going to be discussed at our upcoming special town meeting in November. So there's going to be two discussions, one on the ADUs, which the governor made a by right issue in this Commonwealth, and we have in the town some abilities to adjust that to our bylaws. And then this 40R discussion, Chris, that, as you know, has been going on for a couple of years now.
Yes. So
it'll be a good chance to meet with people, to ask any questions in the spirit of full transparency, sir.
Rick Trapillo, tell us where and when again. This morning at 10 a.m., where and when?
At Town Hall, sir. There'll be boxes of coffee there and muffins I'm picking up right now at Dunkin' Donuts behind you. And then from 4 to 8, Chris, at Town Hall as well.
So tell people what the 40R development is. If they never heard of it, just landed here from Guatemala, what's a 40R?
40R, Chris, is a by right development process for individuals, corporations to come in to develop land or properties for housing, mixed-use developments. So there are two areas within the town of Fairhaven that are up for discussion. One, we have a very specific waterfront area which would allow for housing to be developed by individuals. And then we have the two key plazas in the area. So the town, if they approve it, would give individuals and or large developers the right to transpose, develop those areas for housing. Some of that housing would be affordable by state mandates. Some would be market rate. And there would also be the ability to develop maybe the plazas into what I always look at as a benchmark, the Mashpee Commons.
Okay.
So it would give the town the ability and developers the ability to look at different areas of the town for housing and development, for shops, for walkways, really to transform the town, what I believe would be in a positive fashion.
We need tax revenues, no doubt about that, Rick Trapillo.
Yeah, we certainly do, Chris. I mean, I'm more in favor of this, Chris, than, as you know, some of the issues in the town. They're evaluating a cable company to go out and get a bond for $20 million. I'd rather us look at housing and generating tax revenue than putting for lack of better words, a boat anchor around our neck for a cable TV station in the basement of Town Hall. So I think that, this is an issue that the town meeting members, elected town meeting members, truly need to burst themselves, come in with good questions, and make a vote for the future of the town. It's really a pivotal time for the town of Fairhaven is how we look at housing and business development, Chris. And business development done classy, smart.
Yes.
Something that will be an attribute to the community.
This is Rick Trapillo from the Fairhaven Planning Board. Rick, I appreciate you and Kathy Melanson making your personal time available to answer people's questions. So you're going to be available this morning and this afternoon. Tell people again where.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Chris. From 10 to 2, there's a fresh box of Joe in the back of my Jeep, and from 4 to 8 this evening. So please, folks, be there, ask your tough questions, educate yourself on it so that we can have a great town meeting. Town meeting members, Chris, as you always eloquently say, are elected.
Yep.
They need to be versed when they come to the town meeting in November to really make a decision and a crossroads for our town.
Thanks, Rick Trapillo. I really appreciate it, my friend. Be good, and I do appreciate you bringing all this real good information to the town.
Chris, we appreciate you. You're a great person to always share what's going on in our communities. Thank you, sir. Have a good weekend.
Thanks, my friend. So Rick Trapillo from the Planning Board. Again, these are, by the way, there is no right or wrong answer. It's your opinion. The only way your opinion can be wrong is if you're not informed, right? You can be informed. You and I can get the same set of facts and come to different opinions, but provided we have the facts, right? I find that confusion leads to bad decisions. So, and just because your neighbor is against something doesn't mean you have to be, and vice versa if you're in favor of it. So anyway, head down to Town Hall this morning. Why not? Rick's going to give you, sounds like free coffee and a donut. So, and get some questions answered. And it's not bad to have more information today than you had yesterday, right? It really isn't. So 508-996 888-996-0500 so you can get on the program. Big doings here in Fairhaven, right? The town administrator has left. Yesterday, I believe, was her last day. Angie Ellison Lopes is moving on to another community. I don't really know if they're going to have an interim or if they're going to try to redo the town administrator bylaw, which was discussed during the campaign. I don't know. I know a number of people are interested in this high-paying job, a big responsibility that the selectmen have and what direction they're going to take the town, right, in town meeting members. So you don't want to miss this upcoming town meeting, right? Anyway, 508-996-0500. Guys, the other night there was a New Bedford City Council meeting. It was the Housing and Homelessness Committee that is chaired by Shane Burgo, leader of the Shane Denistas, who, I kid him, but he's a hell of a guy. Just comes at, solutions differently than I do. He's basically a socialist, which is, I don't think he's a up against the wall socialist, I don't think he's that yet. But socialism has a way of going bad, though, doesn't it? Anyway, the other night they had a big hearing on it. I'm going to play a little bit of it because I think there was an important part, a big slap at the police, which I think was unnecessary. And I'm glad that the city council was able to give the chief of police the forum to address this. We're going to play this clip right now.
Police force to deal with the homelessness. I'd like to hear from Chief Oliveira, since he is here.
So that's Sean Oliver, Ward 3 City Councilor, giving the floor to the chief of police because you're going to hear it right now. This is a very important thing. I'm glad that Sean Oliver caught this remark and had the chief there and brought him up to address this. I'm glad the chief was able to do this because this is the type of stuff that destroys police reputations. And don't think it wasn't done intentionally.
To kind of speak on that.
I withdraw.
You would not, you said?
I withdraw.
Oh, withdraw. Oh, okay. Chief, and the chair recognizes Council Oliver on his first.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Chief Oliveira, for being here.
Good evening.
I just because, there was something said about, weaponizing a police force to handle the homelessness issue that we have. And I just wanted to give you the opportunity to kind of speak a little bit more about that, how you and your officers address these individuals as, the situation arises.
Yeah, so my response to that, it's fake news. Absolutely false. We've never been asked. As you know, many of you have called for homelessness issues in your districts. And my response to you all has always been, we will activate the HOT protocol and we treat those people with dignity. Whether they're homeless, whether it's mental health, no different than anyone else. So our officers will respond and we'll check out the situation. We'll notify the people if they're present in the encampment, and then we actively initiate the protocol, which would be to notify Lindsay Montero's office, contact Stephanie Sloan, obviously Danielle is a huge partner in that, and our own outreach workers will follow up. And as most of you know, because you will repeatedly call me and say, they're still there. And I'm like, I'm well aware, it takes time. And that's the process we do here in New Bedford. We treat them with dignity, it takes time, we try to get them alternate housing. As you know, most of it is just not a housing issue. It's mental health, it's sicknesses, it's ailments, it might involve St. Luke's many times. It's a process, and there's no one solution. I know not for the police department. It's a sensitive issue, and as you all heard, I know some of you don't like hearing it, it's not just a New Bedford issue. I go to meetings with major city chiefs. Personally, I think we're doing a lot better than other city chiefs when I hear the way they deal with homelessness. There are some communities that don't have much patience for the homeless. I think we do, or I know our police department does. So, but I can, there's always someone, as you know, who will say worst case scenario about the police and about other public entities. But I'd like to know that person who said that, their personal experience, and address that if that's the case, because I can assure you that's not what the New Bedford Police represents.
I didn't think so, and I thank you for your elaborating on that. When you and your team, your officers are dispatched to a situation, do you guys stay on scene until a member of the HART team comes? What's that transition like? Is it the officers just go to the scene and speak with the individuals, and then you guys initiate the HART team to go on at a later date, or how does that work, just for the general public to...
Yeah, so normally if a call's initiated about a tent, it's not even dispatched. We send it to our outreach workers. And usually our outreach workers will start notifying the protocol, or they'll stop by the tent to make sure it's still occupied. Often, right, there's no one there if you go during the day. So then they'll try to make contact, identify the person who's there, let them know that, see if they need services at the outset. And then we try to, mitigate it right there if possible. And then if not, we just, we activate, and usually if it, we'll start with Lindsay Montero and say, this is the situation we have, male, female, this age, identify them. This is where they've been, if they're from out of town. These are the services we think we need, and then we'll start surrounding those wraparound services. Obviously, there's no better expert than Danielle, and she's obviously always just a phone call away. So that's normally the protocol. But as a 911 call, even when most of you have called me, I don't dispatch that as a 911 call. If you right, I'll then put it out to the outreach team. Please address, as you know, we had this long-standing issue at Wilkes Branch. Took quite a while, and obviously we know that they're back over there. So, but it's a process. It's a long process. It can be frustrating at times, but there's a process, and we follow the process.
So, in kind of what I'm hearing is some of these officers aren't really even getting involved. It's kind of just initiating that, unless there's an emergency of some sort.
So what happened, folks, all right, is that you had Shane Burgo, leader of the Shane Denistas, who, by the way, just endorsed Mark Sylvia, Democrat, for state representative in Fairhaven and New Bedford and Rochester and Marion and Mattapoisett and Acushnet as well. So Shane Burgo, the leader of the Shane Denistas, he highlighted a quote that the police are being weaponized and that they're like stormtroopers, that's my word, but going through the tents and ripping them down and everything else like that. And first of all, we don't need anybody highlighting the police department in a negative way anymore, right? New Bedford already has a hard enough time attracting and retaining police officers. So I think it was, at best, naive of Councilor Burgo, leader of the Shane Denistas, to highlight an unverified account and not put it in context, because this report covered all 4 cities of Bristol County, right? Attleboro, Fall River, Taunton, and New Bedford. So as the chief got up to explain, that's even how we deal with stuff. We don't even really, basically, the police don't even get dispatched on a 911 call to an issue of a tent. They send the outreach workers. So for Shane Burgo, leader of the Shane Denistas, and the chairman of the Housing Committee, not to know that already up front, and to cherry pick a line out of the report about weaponizing the police and these stormtrooper-like tactics, not even realizing that doesn't even apply in his own city. Yet he uses his form as a city councilor to highlight this attack on the police, I thought was very, at the most, naive and irresponsible. At the worst, a continuing conspiracy of the war on police, right? 508-996-0500. Good morning. Thanks for holding.
Good morning, Chris.
What's happening, Carlos?
Everything's well. Yourself?
Good.
Yeah, I'm glad you're highlighting this, because it deserves conversation. Out of a 48-page, I believe, report, Shane Cheeseburgo decides to highlight the most negative aspect of it towards the police, That to me is unbecoming of a counselor, especially someone who's seeking the presidency of the council chamber for the next year. And, not only is it not the right thing to do, it speaks volumes on him and his character. And for someone who is always out there advocating for such things as tent cities and everything, to find out he himself has never visited any of the shelters or so-called shelters in the city is disheartening, to say the least. And I really don't take what he says too seriously, because if someone's not out there actually witnessing, listen, I'm not perfect. At one time, I was on the other side, and I didn't look at police with respect. But when I started learning respect for the police, is when I was actually out there watching what they do, seeing what they do, how people treat them, and what they go through. So I suggest to Cheeseburgo, get off your seat and walk into the neighborhoods. Go and see exactly what police actually do, rather than rely on a 3-sentence out of a 48-page report. Like you said, unverified. We don't know if this person had a vendetta towards one individual officer or whatever, and they just happened to say that.
They were living in a tent. They were living in a tent on a city street. So let's take that judgment into question, right?
Right. So obviously, right, exactly. And these are the people that Shane chooses to use to basically attack the police department. Right. And I'm sorry, it's not right. It's not right, especially after everything they're going through. With the whole thing in the city, politicians kneeling down before them and all that stuff. And now to just keep rubbing it in. Enough is enough already. These men and women do a tremendous job. Are they all perfect? No. I've dealt with some stuff myself, but it's a hard job, and you've got to give them a little bit of leeway once in a while, because they're human beings as well. But I'm sorry, as a city councilor, you should be a cheerleader for the New Bedford Police Department, not someone who's going to find every little thing to nitpick their job, because it's already hard enough. You know what I mean? And I praise Sean for being the one that stood up and gave the chief the floor and the ability to speak and tell us exactly what's going on. Thanks, Chris, for allowing me to speak.
Thanks for the call, my friend. Folks, so as Carlos said, I tried to get it out of Shane the other day, and he's a politician now. He's been there a while. He is interested in being the city council president. He wouldn't tell us whether he's in the lead or not. But I think all of you who live in the city of New Bedford ought to think very seriously about contacting your city councilor and ask them whether they intend on elevating Shane Burgo, leader of the Shane Denistas, a socialist clique there on the city council, to the presidency of the New Bedford City Council. Under the current succession plan, that would put him in direct line to succeed Mayor Mitchell. Okay? As the law is currently written and not changed, maybe this is why they aren't changing it. I don't know. But Shane Burgo is attempting to garner the votes to be the next city council president. So I think everybody in my audience has got to reach out to their counselor, the at-large and the ward councilors, and ask them, do you intend to vote for Shane Burgo, leader of the Shane Denista faction, to be the city council president? I like Shane. He's a nice guy. I just think he's wrong on the issues. And when you're wrong on the issues and you're the city council president, you can do a hell of a lot of damage. Look at that tax rate. 508-996-0500. Stick around. We'll be right back. Discussion that happened in the city council. Also, the whale that washed up on the beach in Westport. You can read more about that at WBSM.com. We just don't know. I don't remember a lot of whales dying in the past, but I didn't really think about it a lot, I don't remember any ever washing up on the beaches in Fairhaven. I've been here for my entire life. So anyway, 508, but also talking about the city council, the homeless, and the upcoming city council presidency vote. Do you support your councilor voting for Shane Burgo to be the city council president? Good morning. Thanks for holding.
Good morning, Chris. Gilly Saffield.
Hey, Gilly. How you doing?
One thing Carlos forgot to tell you guys on the radio is, in that meeting, Shane did make a comment And what was it, 48 pages, that report?
Yes.
Okay. He did make a comment that he didn't read the whole report.
He did.
Right? Didn't he make a comment? A lot of people forget that. He made a comment. He didn't read the whole report, but he picked out the one thing that's going to hurt the police.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's the thing that they're doing all the time, you know? So that's all. Carlos forgot to say there. When Carlos, pushed him for it, he says, this is a part-time job. I got another job.
Yes, he did.
You know what I mean?
He did say that.
He did say that, didn't he?
Oh, he absolutely said it.
I just want to remind everybody, because I never forget. Have a good day.
Thank you, my friend. Have a nice weekend. 508-996-0500. My criticism of Shane Burgo has basically been based around, as it is with Maria Siesta, asleep at the switch. They don't do the work before the committees. They don't even do the work in the committees. And in the case of Maria Siesta, she's basically quietly quit. She's quietly quit. She's collecting her paycheck and the insurance and the pension credits, but she really is not involved anymore. But elections have consequences. You can do that. We saw that Debbie Coelho did it, right? I think she left the country for a couple of years, but kept collecting the paycheck, and that is the reason why they're so terrified of the recall. Don't underestimate the power of Maria Siesta to preserve herself by holding back other counselors from moving forward with the succession plan in the recall. It is unbelievable what's going on in that city council. And you may end up having Shane Burgo, leader of the Sandinistas. I called him that because he reminds me of a Nicaraguan Sandinista. Remember them? The Sandinistas, they're still in power. The Sandinistas rolled into Nicaragua with no idea how they were going to govern. But that didn't stop them from screwing up the entire economy as Shane Burgo would. And remember, Shane Burgo just endorsed Mark Sylvia for state representative in Fairhaven, Mattapoisett, Rochester, Marion. That'll put another Shane Denister in the legislature. Good morning. Thanks for holding.
Hi, am I on now?
You are on the air, yes.
I don't want to talk about New Bedford. I don't live in New Bedford.
That's okay.
You know what? I've got a gripe with Comcast.
Okay.
I don't know if everybody's having trouble like me. I call information. You have to repeat 3 times the town and the state. And then when you get an operator, they don't know what you want, and you have to spell the name. I was so angry today. I had just ordered a new bedding, and I wanted to call the company. I can't see, yes. And I have to use my phone. Now, I don't know how to dial, but that's why I use information. The girl wanted me to spell the name of the company, and I just told her the first letter. I said, if I knew how to spell, I wouldn't be calling you people.
Right.
It's true, I'd be looking at my phone book, right?
Right.
And why are they like that? I got the phones with them. I've got my computer. I've got my TV. I don't even use the computer anymore now because I can't see. But why are they like that with our customers? I wish we could get somebody else beside Comcast.
There is a move, and thanks for the call, my friend. There is a movement to try to do that. I don't know if it's the right solution. I'm not sure. But I will tell you, I don't even deal with a cable company. I give it to Natalie because I was never good with that anyway. But it's a very frustrating enterprise. What's great, WBSM, we don't charge you any fees. We're always here with our infotainment. We'll keep you entertained, and we won't even bill you for it. Stick around. We'll be right back. Program, the spirit of Thanksgiving is in the air, right? We here at WBSM, we want to help local families celebrate together with our Hunger Heroes food drop. Now, many of us have had unbelievably great luck in life, and we work hard and things like that, and we have an abundance. There are other people that don't, okay? For whatever reason, they're struggling. So for the 32nd year, we'll be collecting food to benefit the United Way of Greater New Bedford's Hunger Heroes Project. Join us at Aldi in Dartmouth on Saturday, November 16th from 10 a.m. to noon to donate the necessary Thanksgiving items. You can find all the details at WBSM.com. Hunger Heroes Food Drop is made possible by our friends at Is Schwartz Appliance, First Citizens Federal Credit Union, Carefree Homes, and Aaron Pools and Spas. So if you have the opportunity, if God has blessed you, as he has with many of us, join us at Aldi's in Dartmouth on Saturday, November 16th at 10 a.m. to noon. It'll be a lot of fun to donate the necessary Thanksgiving items, okay? Those items are available at WBSM.com. Good morning. Thanks for holding.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, Bob. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Chris. I was calling up to ask if I may give an endorsement to our Republican 10th Bristol District candidate.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, that's Joe Pyers. I would encourage everybody to get out and vote if you haven't done it already. And let's just try to change the balance up there on Beacon Hill. We need more Republicans. Joe's a great guy. He ran a great primary election, and I know he'll do a fantastic job up there.
Bob, I think it's great. I know that the Republicans in Fairhaven and Mattapoisett are doing a great job trying to organize and bring an alternative to the ballot.
Yes, we have been doing our committee, our Fairhaven Republican Town Committee, has been doing everything that we can to support Joe. And personally, I've been out with others knocking on doors in Fairhaven and doing anything that I can to support Joe's campaign.
Bob, how's the reception for Joe Pyers?
Really good. One neighborhood in back of the high school there, I think that's precinct 3 or 4, but quite a few doors before we could even get up the walkway. They came out to say, I already voted for him. So it was really encouraging. The Democrat opponent is a hometown boy, but Joe Pyers will do a great job for us up there. He's run a great primary, a hard worker, a tireless worker.
Bob McConnell, I appreciate that. Bob, of course, is the chair of the Republican Town Committee here in Fairhaven. He's a really hard worker. And he's also on the Republican State Committee, and he's endorsing his former opponent, Joe Pyers, who bested him in the primary to get that nomination, and now is up against the Democrat machine here in the greater Fairhaven area. So if you haven't voted, folks, give serious consideration to Joe Pyers. I know I am. I invited Mark Sylvia to be here. He has not even acknowledged my invitation, which I think I sent him 3 invitations. And he certainly knows, because unless he doesn't really live in Fairhaven, he knows that